Welcome back, everybody. I am JustDaZack, and today we are going to have a look at Vagrus, the Riven Realms, a post-apocalyptic choose-your-own-adventure RPG that came out in 2021. We're going to have a first look at this game. Well, kind of first, kind of second look. What that means, I'm going to tell you in a second. Full transparency here is that I did acquire a free key for this game, so please keep that in mind. But that said, how about I introduce you guys to the game's introduction itself. Let it speak for itself, so I see you in a second after this.
The River Realms, they call it. What a fine poetic name for something as rotten and twisted as our land has become. It was not always so. Long ago, the old empire, the noblest and most enduring society created by humankind, spanned almost the entire continent of Zerine, the cradle of man. But after several millennia of progress and incomparable achievements, inevitably, the empire began to fall into stagnation and decadence. Desperately holding on to their privileges and resisting change while trying to avert the collapse of the realm, the emperor and his theocracy took to measures that were worthy of true despots in cruelty. Subjugating weaker realms, enslaving whole nations, strip mining foreign resources, oppressing imperial citizens, war on several fronts, genocide. Eventually, the gods could no longer tolerate such horrors wrought in their name. Foretold by an abundance of divine omens, they descended upon the empire to right its wrongs. Thus, in a chain of dreadful events that became known as the Calamity, they annihilated the Empire in a matter of days. The gods then finally saw what they had done in their anger and confusion. It is said that so much grief and shame filled them that they were broken and they left this reality, never to return. The continent and its inhabitants seemed dead, but at length survivors began to crawl out of their hiding holes and faced a land that no longer welcomed them. Arcane anomalies, the fallout of the Calamity, now riddled the continent, and people realized that they had to share their new home with changed and twisted creatures. Terrible beings entered through the cracks in the tapestry of reality and rose to rule over the natives. In time, these new powers rebuilt the fallen empire in their own image, and the River Realms, now godless and vengeful, reincarnated from the ashes. The inhabitants of the land, such as I, now eke out a living under the crushing rule of the new empire. The continent itself constantly resists our every attempt at building a cozy home for ourselves. As travel is dangerous, many ventures specialize in transferring cargo and passengers over bleak and deadly leagues of land. Others try to take everything of value from said travelers, or attempt to find buried treasures among the ruins of the old empire. The leaders of the endeavors are, some say, the bravest men and women of the River Realms. Such a leader is called a Vagrus.
Alright, and here we go. Isn't this a cool setting? Like grimdark fantasy, the gods descended, destroyed everything, and then they disappeared, and now we have to survive in this grimdark fantasy fallout. Area, so to speak, right? As someone with a little bit of responsibility taking on their commentati and traveling through this, and learning adventures. This is what the game is about. You are the leader of this kind of caravan, and, well, in the main game, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Of course, there's a story. Of course, there's a lot of character. There's a lot of interesting world building, which I am excited to show you guys. And it's also pretty much one of these games, well, choose your own adventure, where you tell your own story in this harsh world. And you might have seen this at the beginning. This game is also being intentionally designed in a way that it's pretty much unforgiving. You're gonna try over again. It's gonna be difficult. You have to learn its systems, even though I have a little bit of a criticism there as well on that front. But overall, this is not gonna be an easy game. It's there to suffer, but it's there, not to make you feel miserable necessarily, but instead helps you to tell a story, right? Overcome obstacles and, well, tell your own story that you choose, so to speak. So that said, my original plan was to play the tutorial. There is a separate tutorial kind of adventure, so to speak, and this is where we are going to start. I played this now, I think, roughly between 2 and 3 hours. I originally wanted to, I'm gonna quickly finish the tutorial, play a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you guys what's on. No, I'm still in this tutorial phase, so to speak, but it is being told in an interesting way. Mechanically, I might have a few things to say about that as well, but story-wise, engaging-wise with the, into the world, well, very, very interesting. That said, this game, again, came out originally in 2021. This is a very small and very lovable or very passionate developer team, as far as I know, because I still remember I had this game pretty much on my wish list, pretty much since day one, and when this released, it was pretty much like to mostly negative reviews. People, reported bugs and so many other things, and currently this game sits at a rating of very positive, so people really enjoy this. It's kind of like a hidden gem, I think a little bit of a hidden rough gem, but this is what I intend to show you guys. I'm nevertheless quite excited. Let's have a quick look at the options menu to see what we can do. Well, we can change like the font size, a few accessibility options, that's nice. Resolution, full screen, that's nice. Full UI zoom. I have a few things to say about some of the UI elements as well, but technically you have a bunch of options, even though I do like that we have pop-ups, by the way. That gives you a little bit of more options. I think I actually made the UI a little bit bigger as well, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm just crazy, but hey, look at that. Bunch of audio sliders, you guys know that I do love that. Rebindable keys, all of that stuff, which is something. Changes will take effect after you restart the game. I don't quite know. I guess this means languages. Community-reviewed machine translation. Okay, that's what that is. Look at that. Interesting. Okay, I keep talking, but how about I keep showing? So let's hit continue. And we all know this actually has its separate name. I'm not quite sure if we can tell you. It depends on where we go to. Oh, look at this.
The Black Knight's investigation concluded in Avernum. We were yet again chained to his will and purpose. Commandeered from our original venture, we set out across vast plains of sand and rock in search of escaped slaves that preyed upon travelers. We could only dream that we'd make it out of this predicament alive and could return to our journey eastwards.
So yeah, so this is still the tutorial, which has this, again, its own adventure name, which I totally forgot because I have the memory of a bird. So the getup is, again, we are in this world. We are already a traveler in the full game, or in the normal gameplay, so to speak. You can create your own Vagrus, and you do your own story and do whatever you want to do. This is the world map. Okay, of course it didn't work. I'm gonna click over here. This is the world map. Overall, I'm pretty sure you can't access everything on the world. I think it's like more or less like this upper left quarter. I think roughly here, the separated maze, plains of bone, and up to this right. So we can't really, I don't think we can enter like the no man's land, even though there's this. Maybe we can. But as far as I know, we can't enter everything. But there's still quite a bit to explore. I think I kind of started up here. We are currently here in Avernum. I kind of started here in the north. And the cool thing about this is definitely, I want to say this first, like it's kind of fantasy, followed, grim, dark fantasy-esque. So I, for example, I'm a big fan of Stephen King's The Dark Tower series. And here's an element, for example, when we travel with our comitati, with our caravan throughout these wastelands, we had an encounter which again kind of presented in a choose your own adventure style, with like, you know, pictures and stuff and choices. You're gonna see that in a second. But the gist was we came across of like a wandering horde of undead ghosts, so to speak. There's normal undeads in this games, like zombies and mutated zombies, and we're probably gonna fight some of those along the way as well, which you're gonna see. But in this circumstances, it was like presented, okay, we heard tales of this, like travelers encounter these ghosts that are traveling, and apparently these ghosts used to be worshipping the gods, and shortly before the gods actually ascended upon the planet and started this fallout, these ghosts, well, back then, of course, normal humans, were priests and very devout people, and they went on a pilgrimage to try to appease to the gods to, you know, hey, please don't kill us all, or something like that. At least they had a plan, and the pilgrimage grew bigger and bigger, and then, you know, the fallout happened, and these ghosts of these original pilgrims are still out there, still traveling, and sometimes in these wastelands, they appear. And you know, what we know about this is pretty much just tales and hearsay, because people say that if you encounter them, you're dead, you're gonna join them, you will never see that. Because, yeah, that's happened to us twice. And that's already something we can talk about with like wizards in this game, that we encountered this pilgrimage 2 times and we survived 2 times. And it's cool. Like the first time was like, man, they're happening. Okay, everyone hide. I told my people to hide and just, you know, duck our hits down. We don't look at them, don't listen to them. It might be intriguing, but we're probably going to be enchanted and then we're going to join them. And the second time, they were very much upon us, and man, we didn't have the opportunity to run away or hide. So I told my people, okay, draw your weapons, last stand. But also we had one of the soldiers of the Black Sun, which is like a super elite empire, the highest of the highest, like they inquisitors, they can pretty much do whatever they want. They are the law, and we're kind of associated with one right now. This is what I'm getting at in a second. Well, he was there with us right now, and he was standing up front. Man, dang it, I'm gonna fight now too. And then we already heard these whispers of the ghosts when they were upon us, and we had visions, and we were okay. We're joining them. We're one of them, and probably what we heard with the tales is what was pretty much about to happen to us. That we would, you know, join them and go on the pilgrimage and maybe become a ghost as well. No one really knows what they do. They appear at random. They seem to teleport. Sometimes they appear. No one really has seen them once, or not many have seen them even once, you know. Most died, and the few that actually do survive just saw them from a distance. We survived them 2 times, and the second time they were right upon us. So does that make us special? Were we just incredibly lucky? Who knows? There seems to be some predictability with those going on. But yeah, I like that presentation. So this is the overworld, so to speak. We have the overall map. We are currently in Vernum, and we arrived here. Our main mission is actually, we started way in the north, and in a city. We were pretty much at our end with our caravan, and we had like a last desperate idea. Okay, we're gonna travel all this way to this volcanic area. We're gonna get some scrap metal, because, well, this is still post-apocalyptic, right? Metal resources are important. We are kind of a trader, right? So we're gonna venture there, make a deal, get a bunch of scrap metal, and we're gonna venture very, very south. We have a contact there where we're gonna sell it to and make hopefully a good amount of money. That's the idea. Well, traveling back, we had this encounter with goats. We had this encounter with this Black Sun guard, so to speak, who should be in our employee. There we go. Oh, now the question is how to find him here under companions. I think it should be. We have also our friend Morven and our best friend JustDaZack, which I think this is also the guy at the beginning who's kind of like the telltaler, because the setup is this is just a story of a Vagrus. Before we venture out as make our own character, this is again just the tutorial. And Vagrus, or JustDaZack, tells us this story of this Vagrus that we're currently playing many, many years later. I think that's the get-up. And yeah, this is Zedarius. He is a follower of Zergorod, which is kind of like the god of war, so to speak, but also not necessarily the nicest god, but, you know, this is a little bit of order, and we can't really refuse him, and we're kind of like battle companions, hard to tell. And he was betrayed. We found him in the desert, surrounded by normal zombies, so to speak. We rescued him, and he was like, man, I got set up by a trap by some higher ups here in the city. And you now will help me with my investigation. Otherwise, I have the right to kill you, so to speak. So we don't really have a choice. We did the investigation, got some clues, and now we're supposed to go down south in these Offerlet outpost areas, so to speak, and look for 3 camps. Here we have the Black Knight abolitionist camp. Like abolitionists apparently therefore man, free the slaves against the oppressive empire, freedom for everyone. Like what are these guys suggesting? Like democracy? Disgusting. So of course we're gonna wipe them out, that's for sure. And we have to find 3 camps here. And I have some other quests and hints as well. Because again, this is a choose your own adventure. We can look into the city, we can trade, we can buy resources, we can buy equipment, we can buy rumors, get some items, and pretty much traverse this world however we want. There's already one big issue here, which I find very irritating. Like we have, of course, this overall map, as you guys saw before. But we also have this map, and you can't scroll on this, which it just feels very off. I would love to. This is the path where we came from. I think in the full game you have even more freedom how to travel, but at least right now we have been bound with this upper area. I hope you can kind of see it here in gray. This is where we came from, entered Avernum, paid our taxes, for example, and stuff like that. And I can't scroll this. WSD mouse key, and that's not a feature. You can't even drag and drop. It feels honestly off. I would love to explore the world a bit, look at what's here, what's there, to get also a better feel with the world, immerse myself better. And for some reason, this game refuses to let you do that and feels very limiting. It's just a small thing, but honestly, it feels very bad. Just allow me to scroll the map. I want to engage into the world because the writing is very cool. We also have a journal, of course, where we can see our current quest, rumors, tasks, some extra news, which is essentially just an item, it seems, because I can click this and nothing happens. Qualities. What is this, for example? Kingpin's assistance. Scorner promised his help in finding out about the Smelter Collegium's involvement with the abolitionists. Okay, yeah. So this was a side quest we gained in the first city where I had to deliver a package. No one knew what was in the package. We delivered that to an individual here in the city called Scorner. And because I did this parallel to the investigation for our Black Sun associate, I, thought, what, can you help me with my other quest? And he said yes, so he gave us a little bit of assistance. This is the one, the last pilgrimage. You encountered the last pilgrimage a second time in a matter of days. That's the ended ghost I mentioned earlier. So, but yeah, we are taking care of a caravan, so to speak, right? That means we have movement points. We have to manage our caravan from day to day. We have to make sure that our guys have a good morale. Otherwise, well, they will absorb us and kill us or leave us. We also have, of course, a few slaves, and they need to be somewhat submissive at the very least. Also, of course, our people need to be well rested when they are traveling dangerous areas, and they need to be sustained. They need food. That means we have a cargo hold where we can store, of course, the resources we're buying and want to sell that we find along the way that we trade in, but of course cargo for food as well. Currently, I apparently have enough supplies for 5 days, which actually isn't that much, but our cargo is also pretty full. I can see the measurement of my offensive power and my crew combat. It is contested against the opponent's defense to define the chances of success each round. So the tank defense for your caravan, so to speak, is kind of dice rolls, while we also have combat mechanics with our companions in this field, which I hopefully will be able to show you guys as well. And my money, which frankly is not much. Here we have Bros, Lurk, and Changes. This is not much, I spent a lot. What is this, by the way? You do not have enough guards for even the most rudimentary defenses. I guess I lost a lot of my people, because we also, before we left the city, had a combat. Guess we could try. Can I go back to the city one more time to maybe buy from my people? Money is a problem. Of course, our people, well, not the slave, but our people want to be paid as well. That said, oh no, I have to pay the gate tax again because we just left the city. But this is the choose your own adventure module, so to speak. This is how you will see a lot of this game. And I think visually this is a cool presentation. This is again Avernum, the city. And again, this is a choose your own adventure RPG. That means we have to read a lot. So just to give you a text, to show this to you. So this is if we enter the city, which I'm probably not going to do because I don't want to pay the tax, because we have to make do with not having enough guards, because I can't really pay the tax and buy people. I don't know. The city of Avernum. You can smell its foul stench even as you approach its mighty gates set in dark vaults decorated with the bones of gigantic creatures. The dry, sulphurous reek of the region so close to the molten tongue mixes with the bitter, ashen stink of the many foundries and forges in the city. Over the walls, the rooftops and chimneys of the city lean together in a jumble. Buildings on the lower part of the hill are more dilapidated, while the ones near the top are in better condition in general, with a vault of villa appearing here and there. A group of guards stop you as the Comitatus moves ponderously under the gate arch. Comitatus is our caravan. While your cargo and men are being checked, you can see several of the grim, black-clad legionaries of the Avernus Legion standing guard beneath the gate towers, staring at you. "Gate tax is 2 changers," the head guardsman says after getting the confirmation from his men that everything is in order. The slave next to him bows to you and holds up the open money box he carries chained to him. Huh. Can I actually leave this window? Pay the gate tax? Pay with goods? It may not be cheap, but you need to get inside. We can also get like goods. I would pay with 1 scrap metal, which I have in my cargo. Or we need to do this. Where to pay once you are leaving? It will cost more this way. So I think I noticed this with some other elements as well. Can I leave this window? Because I don't want to pay this. We just left the city. Escape doesn't work. And okay, yeah. Because this is another thing I noticed in a few windows is that for some reason you can't leave, or you can't leave like in an obvious way. Yeah, I would like to access this. I'm not willing to pay this tax, so, well, I have a few more things to say about the UI as well. Okay, perfect. We're gonna load the game with my autosave. At least here in the tutorial, you can't manually save. You only have autosave. But the game is also very clear about this.
Investigation concluded.
Yep.
We were yet again chained.
Thank you. All right. So yeah, that's a wonderful thing. Sometimes for some reason in some windows you can't do anything. We approached the gates even though we're still standing in front of this. And yes, we left. We also, when we left the city, we had a dialogue. Have you paid your taxes? Yeah, I have paid my taxes. It's fine. If I click this, we get a bunch of more stats for our caravan. For example, we have slaves, workers, scouts, fighters, outriders, mounts, beasts of burden. We can also kind of combine them. We set like a scout or fighter on a mount to get an outrider. So there's a bunch of different units who have specific roles, like workforce, and kind of everyone contributes to this, like mounts, of course, allowing us to take more cargo. We have scouts that we can send out to forage, but also the more scouts we have, the more likely we are when an event happens that our scouts report on us before something terrible happens. And we have fighters, which we can, well, kind of use with our fighting power to actually survive bad events or so. We have our crew status, which is not that good, I think, and a bunch of extra details. Passengers, which apparently I have a wandering old man, and this is our Black Sun buddy, Sergo, who has joined us. And yeah, we have a cargo hold, there we go, the scrap metal, some supplies. I previously smelted down some, I think the weapons of the fallen friends of our Black Sun buddy. We looted, of course, the corpse, and I smelted down in the city to get them down for some iron bronze. I, in the city, bought some hunting animals, which give me some stuff, like if I choose to hunt or chase someone during events or combat strength. We don't have that much equipment in general. This is a thing, I think, a thing we bought earlier. So as you can tell already, there's a lot of things going on. So this is a game where you read a lot, and this is definitely a game where you scroll through a lot of windows. As you can see with our different companions, everyone has their own perks. Most of them are out of combat, but of course they also have abilities like skills, devastating blow, strafe, that are important in our combat. They also have like equipment slots, both 2 of them actually. And in the city, I also gained the blessing of one of the gods, of Sergorod, which is the evil god, or the god of war, so to speak, which our friend worships, for example. Zidarius, that was his name, there we go. He has the blessing as well. JustDaZack, our other buddy. Do we actually have any other equipment? No, we don't. We can also level up our friends by spending our own XP on them, for example. One thing I learned here is, for example, which I find kind of interesting, is they have professions which gives us like stat bonuses or higher chances, like if we do different events like healing. Again, this is a lot of just what I learned so far, what I think, how it's presented to me. Because again, I'm still in the tutorial. I still haven't done anything. The game tries to show you the individual stuff, but there's a lot of it here, and doesn't it? It kind of gives you an idea what's coming at you, but it also doesn't really explain everything to you. So it's kind of, I think in part it wants to just, you know, want you to figure stuff out. On the other hand, I think it could still do a little bit better at explaining stuff, but again, it's a lot, so it can't really fault it too much. It's hard to say. What I found interesting is like with the attributes like dexterous, the measurement of the character's dexterity and agility, used in events, relevant test chances, requirements, and in companion progression for certain skills. No direct effect on combat, and there's no direct effect in combat, which is kind of weird when you have like tough, which I guess I personally would have thought that would have an influence in combat, like tough, you know, more hit points or vitality as it is called in this game, but not really. Funnily enough, you see this in a lot of skills like strong-minded, but not charismatic for some reason. Charismatic 2 currently, or as it would be the next one. Currently he has charismatic 1, I think. The character's innate ability to inspire devotion and earn trust, used in events and in companion progression. But it does not say that it is not used in combat, but it said not used in combat in any other attribute. So kind of by law of exclusion, funnily enough, that would mean, same with strong-minded actually. So maybe that is in fact. So charismatic clearly has an influence on combat, somehow, because it clearly does not state that it is not. It's small things like this. I think it doesn't have an influence on combat, but again, considering that it says you know, that it specifically tells you that on the other things, kind of makes me wonder, which is kind of sad considering how many informations you need to learn in this game and have to keep in mind and need to manage and to understand. This game needs to be like as clear as possible with stuff like that. And if I'm unsure if charismatic is which kind of common sense says probably not, but you need to specify this, like small things like that in such a game. And if there's a lot of small things like that, that could be important. Regardless, we haven't done anything yet, right? By the way, this is my level up screen. You get insight, for example, if you learn more of the world or do quests like here. And you can spend the insight to either level up your companions for a certain amount, or you can level up yourself, or you can level up your authority, which allows you to have more companions, or you can level up your resourcefulness. And resourcefulness are like skills that you can use in combat or outside of combat, depending on the situation. For example, we start with 8. Here in the tutorial, you can use resourcefulness to bring back companions from a down state in combat. So if they kind of, quote-unquote, die in combat, get KO'd, you can spend some points with this 8 skill to bring them back up, which is important because combat is kind of hard as well. There's another thing here in the tutorial in one of the first few files. I think actually the first time it tells you about resourcefulness and wants you to use it. And then it gives you like Inspire, which boosts your companions' stats a little bit with that skill. It also tells you about 8. The fun thing is, again, that is where this game feels a little bit unpolished in some small areas, but a lot of them is that it tells you here, use Inspire. Oh, by the way, you can also use 8 in this combat or in general, and it does not allow you to use 8 or Inspire multiple times for that matter. You can only use it the first time it tells you can use these abilities, and then throughout the entire combat you cannot. Even though I experienced some other combats where it's possible. So it's kind of weird there. And you can't use 8 there. And so that's why I actually lost that tutorial combat, which you can do that. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but you can do. So we have 11 points. Honestly, I think I should spend them. The problem is still I have not really that much idea where I would like to use this. You know what? Let's keep this simple. Let's be very charismatic. Let's try to talk our way out of situation. Not sure. We're gonna keep 2 inside if this is smart, but whatever. So again, our goal right now is to go south. And again, you can't scroll on this map, which you can zoom out a little bit, but I would love to, because this gives me also a sense of orientation, right? It's just a small thing, but I think this is honestly crippling. This has a negative experience for me on the game. very much though, because I feel like very limited for no reason, and I want to engage more with it. Also, just, for clarity, I would like to zoom out a little bit to see what I can do here, but yeah, the game refuses to, which, Another thing I notice is, again, we have we can read up pretty much everything, and the writing of this game, I think, is very good, and the world building as well, because this is one of these games that gives you, of course, a lot to read, and you have all these things here, right, where you have to read these individual things, for example, that give you extra information, but it also shows you a lot throughout its natural gameplay in the text, for example. It teaches you a lot, and all of these, this compendium, there we go, this is the word I was looking for, just gives you more information, or common information, or information you have unlocked. But also, just by dialogue, you always usually get an idea of what things mean. And I criticize this in other games that usually gives you a compendium but doesn't really conveys the same information, or at least a general idea of that throughout the gameplay. I think this game actually nails this, gives you a general idea about all these things throughout its natural gameplay, and then gives you the companion to read up even more if you choose to, which I like. So the world building, definitely a very strong suit of this game, and the writing like this. So that said, we want to go south. We do this by traveling. We have movement points. We also have march points, which I'm not sure if this actually works in this tutorial. March is like extra points, so I have 9 movement points. I could also use these march points to travel a bit further, but usually that has very high penalties, because 9 is what our people signed up for, what they're able to, and 4 is literally just like, okay, when you march, you're exhausted, everyone's terrible, sick maybe, and they are still forced to move, and that has very high penalties, which the game also kind of states like, use this only when you have when you are sure about this. And I'm not sure if we can do this in the tutorial. That said, we have different nodes we can move on the map. Right now we're going to use these 3, and we want to look at this map to have maybe an idea where I want to go through. Looks like we have to go even further north. There's this outpost here, 1 to 2 days of travel. There's a village, and I gained some information that down south of Venom is actually like a village of people who really want to pay a lot of money for iron. So the idea would be maybe to look up my rumors. Hidden outpost is a thing as well. According to locals, there's a fairly hidden trading post out in the flats about 2 days almost to southeast of Venom, run by some trading house. There might be a business opportunity there, though a lone wanderer claims that they have some trouble brewing at the outpost. Interesting. The bounties of fire. Asking the right people over the market reveals that the tribe dwelling in an oasis in the south of Venom values metal greatly. Aha, money. Iron, copper, tin, silver, all exports of the city. Perhaps there's some profit to be made. Okay, if we now look at the map, the oasis seems to be here. So that seems to be 3 out of 5 days southwest. Utvora. I don't even know why I have this on my map. Savages, maybe? People talk about savages living in 2 tribal settlements, one to the south and another one further southwest of Venom. These people worship the elements, and their shamans are said to be able to heal the most terrible wounds. They are called the Zalira. I think these are the ones, and I think I learned this in comparison when we asked a mage about the lost pilgrimage, the ghost that we encountered, and these shamans might have an idea to tell us more, maybe. There's talk about bounties. Oh yeah, I forgot to take bounties in the city. So we kind of screwed this up, and I can't go back into the city even though I'm just there, but I just left and I have to go back. But if I click that I wanted to enter the city, I can't go and leave that window anymore. So we're not going to do this. So no bounties, which is kind of sad. In this case, let's try to go maybe southeast. 4 days here and see if we can find the city. So we have 2 points left. I guess I could have done this slightly faster. Can we march? Yeah. Not that smart, but we used some of our marchment point. And now we're gonna rest. Oh man, I don't really have much to feed my people. Well, and there we go. We are, of course, still in the tutorial, so the game gives us some hints throughout these tutorial windows where we can, by the way, click on these symbols, and then they tell you, okay, this is assigned here. For example, the deputy's pane is now active. So this is a mechanic I have never used before. Navigate to it by clicking the Assign Deputies button. I like this is the button if you don't see what's going on the screen, which you often do. Or click in the Deputies sheet on the top left. Click this. It's here. Ah, this is new. Alright, so you might have already noticed that, there's not that much text, but this window is surprisingly small here. The UI elements of these, tutorial windows specifically are frankly a mess. Like, sometimes they are too big, often they are too small, they are all over the place. They are helpful, but I might also show you guys a little bit of scrolling stuff throughout here later, which is kind of weird. So that's something I would like to see improved as well. Maybe it's a resolution thing or so, but it's one of these things that you have to take in, especially in the beginning, right? And they are helpful, but then they are just presented like mechanically with such awkward windows, just like for no reason. Why? And it's just a small thing, but again, it's noticeable. All right, so assign deputies. Deputies are, for example, this window, totally fine. Even though you can still see it's cut off there a little bit. All right, let's go up. Deputies are your officers and the comitatus. On this pane, you can assign your companions to the deputy roles and check what boons each deputy provides. You can assign a companion to a deputy role by dragging and dropping their portrait in an available slot. Available slots are signified by a coin. Only companions with a deputy perk can be assigned. Deputy perk, can't click on this unfortunately. One companion can only fill one role, even if they are eligible to more. And each role can be filled only once. The maximum number of assigned deputy roles depends on your authority. Okay, I think I currently only have 2. Yeah, that's why deputies 1, 2. Deputy roles depend on your authority, a leader characteristics. Your assigned deputies unlock new equipment slots for the comitatus as well. Assigned ones. Though you can only assign or remove deputy roles while in camp or resting, you can always consult the pane through the comitatus management window or directly from the leader window. Assign Morven. That's Morven, of course, to the scout mastery deputy role. Like here. Okay, there we go. Do we see where that changed? +3 scouts. If I take her out. +1 max movement, +15 scouting base chance. Opens up a navigation equipment slot. The head of the scouts who coordinates the activities. Nice. So what if I would choose to do him? Does he have different stats? JustDaZack, Morven. Can't even do this. Tutorial refuses me to allow this. Which is kind of sad, because now I don't know what really changes. What? Okay, Morven, sure. I guess she has the best stats. But how? I guess she only has the perk for that? Companions with Scout Mastery Deputy perk. Maybe that. But, so, I guess she's the only one. What about the others? Do they have worse stats? What's the difference? Would be nice to see that. Chief Handler. That's a bunch of stuff. A Beastmaster and Trainer responsible for all the animals of the Comitatus. Companions with the Chief Handler Deputy perk. I guess it's just that. Okay, she only has this perk. He has only that perk. And that seems to be a bunch of stuff. Plus maximum, 1 maximum health. March, sorry. Less consumption. Beast of Burden. Consumption for the mount for a beast. And workforce, that's a bunch of stuff. That sounds nice. Okay, I did this. And now? I'm still in the tutorial, right? So what else do you want me to do, game? Do I close this window? I suppose. So we are about to rest, and we have different options. We can pay our people. Let's pay them now. We can also choose to pay them later, which of course, if this accumulates too much, our people won't be happy. For now, I think let's pay them. Here we go. We get the morale, the obedience, and depending on how we feed them, for example, 150% food, I'm not so sure. We don't have that many rations. Would honestly be kind of nice to get an idea if it tells us how many supplies we use, but I would love to have that extra information with what that exactly means in days. We know of 5 days overall, but it would still be nice to see, okay, if you choose 100% right now, we still have X amount left, and not just supplies in general, but also the days, for example. Small stuff like that. At least for me as a complete noob, you know, would be nice. So we have also different options. For example, the defense orders. We can post guards. Well, again, you saw I don't have enough fighters currently, so I can't really post guards. That is a mistake. So I'm unable to post any cards, which decreases my obedience and my morale. And we have a higher chance of ambush. Nice! Because previously I had enough guards, but then in this kind of forced choose your own adventure, we lost guards. And of course, how the story was represented, it was kind of, okay, we have to leave the city, let's do it now. I kind of forgot to buy new ones, because I guess maybe the symbol was there, but there's a lot of UI elements, so that wasn't clear to me. We also can acquire some supplies by assigning our scouts, for example, and these people. And this is always kind of, I think this costs vigor, as you can see, yes, and gives us certain chances. And we can send out our scouts we can send out our workers, and we can send our slaves. And you can see the chance, like 7%. You can have like a critically bad outcome, a negative outcome, a positive outcome, and a very positive outcome. So we can also combine those to get a total. Negative is very high. All of those scouts. 65% chance for failure. But I think we need supplies, so if we assign everyone, it seems to take only 1 vigor overall. We could get up to 300 supplies, so if we are lucky. Our stats are not good, but I'm gonna risk it. So end the day. I think you can also talk to your people. Hunting, fail. Nice, at least no one was harmed. In foraging, also fail. At least we gained 9 supply, which is almost nothing. More than also healed from our previous combat ones. Okay. We also, you might have noticed, by the way, when I ended this window, that we had a few frame drops. This is a thing as well, which I noticed, which I find very unfortunate. You have to click through a lot of windows in this game, which is cool. This is what the game is about. But very often the game keeps freezing for just a brief second or so when you switch between these windows, which usually it's just a small thing, right? A few frame drops, but considering how often you have to do this, it's very noticeable. Also, in my opinion, very negatively impacts the experience of this game when I, like here, and I'm gonna end this, and like here, you might notice this if I move my mouse. There we go. It kind of freezes every time, just small. And that, for this type of game that is just purely 2D, and I guess it needs to load a lot, but it kind of makes me wonder what and how the code is. Because, yeah, look at this. It freezes, and again, there's so many windows in this game that it certainly is noticeable. And there's the trial, again, very tiny window for some reason. The scouting icon is now active on the node's radial menu. Scouting icon. Okay, I guess up here. Click on the node you currently occupy, and then on the eye icon. That's also a mechanic that I haven't done this. Okay, the radial menu is here. Okay, like we have this, and I can scout. Alright. Scouting allows you to gather information about what is going to happen in nearby nodes before committing to your comitatus to a path forward. This is done by sending your scouts out. Scouting is divided into 2 categories: manual scouting and auto scouting. Both forms serve the purpose of revealing important information about combat encounters, hunting, foraging, and events in the surrounding area. Manual scouting covers anything from the node you occupy to a larger surrounding area that stretches out far into the distance. The more distance covered, the higher the movement point MP cost. The amount of movement points needed is also dependent on the number of scouts you choose to send and the extent of the area you elect to cover surrounding the comitatus. These factors, among others, also indicate your probability of success or failure, as indicated besides odds. The colored icons represent the different things that you can find, and the upward arrow on the right side allows you to use resourcefulness to guarantee result in a specific category, regardless of your normal chances to succeed or fail at scouting. The upward arrow right, I guess these ones? Again, the game throws so much information at you that often you're just like, okay, what do you mean again? Scouting is not without risk. Your scouts may not return in case of a failure. Nice. Use the plus button to set up a minimum scouting distance of 3. Then click on the send scouts buttons to send your scouts. At least we have this. Okay, that is the send scout button if nothing else. And I guess these are the arrows it means. Send scouts. 6. Does that increase my chance? It does. So of course I want to send as many as possible. Distance. Did it say distance 3? Why can I only go 2 for 6? Wait, tutorial? That's the thing again, like... Use the plus button to set a minimum scouting distance of 3. Yeah, that's the distance. So, that's an information I feel like it should be kind of crucial. What's the difference between 2... I mean, 2, 4, 6, yes. But why can I not choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Why can I only choose this by 2, 4, 6? This is not clear to me, like, whatsoever. Because of the nodes, but there's like 3 travel nodes, so 3 is the minimum. That's just like such a small piece of information that is kind of making me confused, and that is a thing that I experience a lot throughout the game so far. Okay, what is this? Combat encounter is these things we're looking for. Guarantee scouting success in this category by spending 2 resourcefulness. Takes 6 movement, that's a lot, so we could still move a node maybe. Foraging, hunting, combat. I don't know, events, task maybe? How much resourcefulness do I spend? 2 apparently. Why does it not tell me here that it cost me 2, for example? I know here visually nice, but why not on the button itself? There we go. Didn't know what the clicking didn't work before. Well, again, success chance, kind of, let's see, go. All right, the results, you can now see the results of your scouting. The success of your scouting in each direction is indicated by the chevron icons next to numbered emblems. These emblems are also shown on the campaign map where they remain and can be checked for 3 in-game days. Okay. Mousing over them brings up the same percentage-based information that is normally shown as in a list format on the scouting UI. For each node where scouting was successful, percentages appear with icons related to these certain types. Okay, yeah. This is also a thing that I often notice, like sometimes UI elements don't like stack over each other, meaning that sometimes you have like your inventory in the background and then you have your choose your own adventure choosing mission in front of it, like on the top of it, and if you hover over like blank spaces on this first layer, you get information on the second layer. For example, if I had now open also this menu, I would still see the tutorial in the background, for example. Just not in this particular case, but just as an example. That happens sometimes. That's super awkward. The scroll icon indicates either chance or event. The X icon indicates the combat encounter. The crossed out, yeah. Thank you. That's almost too... This is so weird. Sometimes it's too much information. Sometimes it's not specific and enough information. Icon indicates the chance of nothing happening, and the arrow and berries icon representing hunting and foraging based success chance on that node respectively. I already forgot everything. In the case of critical success, you get more precise information. The blue scroll icon indicates an available priority event, story related or fixed local events, while the golden scroll icon indicates a random event. Okay, I don't think I have any scroll. I have purple scrolls. I see purple scrolls here. Failed scouting provides no information on events, while a critical failure also incurs losses to your scouts. Results are still shown for failed results when resourcefulness was used with manual scouting to guarantee success in the guarantee. Uh-huh. Okay. That's... Well, we have this. 2, 5. So I guess that's the distance? I've already forgot the number. Is this the amount? The X icon shows a combat encounter. The crossed out circle icon indicates the chance of nothing happen. But why is there 5 now? Number? Is that the distance? I honestly don't know. Great. So, but it says 5. Even though we have 2 here, this is the distance 3. So I don't get it. Is this just the name of node? I honestly don't even see this in the tutorial. You can see the results of his scouting. By the chevron icons next to numbered emblems. These emblems are also shown in the campaign map, where they remain and can be checked for the 3 in-game names. Yeah, but, okay, the numbered emblems. How are they numbered? Why are they numbered? What information does that give me? Is it just random numbers so I can say this is slot number 5? Is this different? Why is the 5 there? Why is the 3 there? Why is the 2 there? I'm confused. Okay, 2, we don't have any information for these 2. There's a 3, which has a 100% event, 0% counter. There's a bit of this symbol, which I honestly, no results. But what does this mean? Like, hunt, food? Why can't I highlight over these symbols to get that little bit of extra information, by the way? I'm pretty sure this means combat. I'm pretty sure you told me some of these symbols earlier, but this is again like, I'm so overwhelmed by the info. Why not giving me this hover over here to give me this extra information? Like here as well, or maybe here. I can apparently filter event results. Why is this in lowercase and not in uppercase? So clearly this is event. Why do you just say no results when you could of course say like no event results or no combat results? Like, this, again, it's such a small thing, but given the amount of information, and I guess it's probably super hard to convey all of that to a new player, but it's so overwhelming, and I think like it's so many small things that I keep noticing here. But maybe it's just me, but I want to understand this, I honestly do. So what do you say move on? Move on from this window? Move on to the location I choose? What if I click this? This is selected. Why is this selected but not the others? Like, I see this filled out. Do I click it here to change my selection? No. So is this where I came from? Maybe. I guess so. Because this is filled out. I guess this highlights the way I came from. Can't really click off this, so I guess I just move on. So we know there's an event here, but this is also back traveling, but sure. Let's go over here and see what it is about. Acquire supplies. Scout, camp. Acquire supplies. As an alternative to acquiring supplies, when you camp and end the day, you may also acquire supplies during the day. This can often be useful as the node you choose to hunt or forage on may have significant impact on the results. In almost all cases, this will cost 2 movement points. If you do not have any remaining MP, it will cost instead 1 vigor. You can send out multiple hunting and foraging expeditions during... this is another thing that sometimes happens with these menu. Question first is, of course, why is it so small again? Second one is, as you can tell, maybe sometimes when you scroll with your mouse wheel, you want to just go like, for example, here. It automatically bounces you up or down. Seemingly at random sometimes. As someone from me who maybe wants to only scroll 90% down instead of 100%, that often kind of makes me irritated as well. Again, super minor detail, but very noticeable and very irritating. Okay, I honestly forgot where I was. You can send out multiple hunting and foraging expeditions during a day, though these will face diminishing returns depending on the outcome of previous attempts. But I thought there was an event here now. Do I need to rest to access this event? I guess I sent my... Yeah, great. How terrible my success is. Because the vigor, which I don't have much, but sure, send out scouting parties. Okay, 51 supplies. That's not even a day. But if I spend it, I could do it again. Scout. I already spent all my money. So, what? That was complete failure. Like, okay, the game forced me to scout. I gained... almost no information, I think. Apparently there's an event here. Do I need to rest to access the event? I have no idea. Maybe it taught me earlier in one of the bazillion windows. I could acquire supplies again, but that would cost vigor, right? But I have marching power points. Is that the same as movement points on this? Cost vigor. So I guess before it also cost vigor, not movement points, right? So I didn't really do much. We scouted, moved 1 tile. If I scout again... Okay, of course I can't because we did it earlier. So failed there. I guess this did have the highest chance, but this is also where we had a success. So 100% what? So only if I camp, maybe? Well, we can't post guards, which is like, I don't know. Am I already lost in the game? Because I don't have, I forgot to buy 1 or 2 guards in the city, and now I will always lose obedience? What's this? Discipline 1 or more of your slaves. Maybe we should do this. Before we always had a choice here. Discipline 1 or more of your slaves to gain obedience. Note that disciplining your slave has a diminishing return and may have the opposite effect as obedience. Cost no MP. Gain 1 to 2. Discipline some or all of your slaves. 2. I want 1 obedience. Hutcha! You better stay submissive. I'm gonna give you a little bit of extra food right now. Because I need you guys to be happy. We're also going to scavenge, cost vigor. I mean, the success rate now, it's too terrible. I'd rather have the vigor. End the day. Okay, we gained nothing. Well, you gained 1 vitality. Okay. Oh, I guess that's the event. The reason for it is difficult to pinpoint. The reason for what? Perhaps it was an intricately... What? The reason for it is difficult to pinpoint. Perhaps it was an intricately shaped rock you saw. Or was it the odd but catchy tune one of your combs whistled this morning? The delicious food you ate at your last stop? Or maybe it was that hour of lying awake, thinking about the future before going to sleep last night. Whatever it was, you feel more inspired to work and travel than before. It lasts for... Okay, that's nice. You gain inspiration. There's a dot missing. What is inspiration? This is an honest question, by the way. I've played this game now for 2 hours. I have not the slightest idea what inspiration means. We have more resourcefulness, apparently, because here's +1 status effects not available yet. So I can't look this up either. Companions. Again, frame drops when I switch here. Like, my guys don't seem to have inspiration. So what is this? The game actively refuses to show me status effect. It's just like, you have gained inspiration. Cool, what does that mean? I'm more confused than before. Why do that to me? Okay, we could scout, but again, it's kind of, it takes so much movement point that I think it's a complete waste. So, I don't know, let's move over here for 5 movement points. We still kind of want to go to the bottom right. I guess this could be the outpost. So let's go over here for 4 additional ones. And we could acquire supplies. Takes probably vigor again. We could march, but usually that's super bad, right? So that means we're going to camp. Can I send my guys out for... chances are still terrible. Also costs vigor. What if I say no? And only acquire. That's the same amount of choice, I think, right? Yeah, that seems to be the same stats as when I scout at the end of the day. So maybe I should not have spent all my points. Otherwise it would have cost movements point. I think the game actually taught you that earlier as well. Let's go with 100% for now. Submissiveness. I'm gonna discipline a few more slaves again. End the day for now. Let's actually see, can we talk to anyone? Morven. Morven is discussing something with a few scouts when you approach them. She sees you and steps away from her company. Join you here next to a tent in the shadows. You immediately start to feel anxious, as if roused out of torpor by Taki and coffee. The effects of her demon-kind heritage, no doubt. Anything I can do for you? Companion Javik acquired, so we can ask her about the different companions. Ask her what she thinks about your mission. Yeah, stories and alignment, the Black Knight. Yeah, about our current mission. You are the Vagrus. I'm only a scout. I'll let you decide what our destination is and what jobs we take. You've been doing this for quite a while, so I'm content you'll choose well. A leader should lead. I'm the leader. Well, anything else we wanted? So what do you think about... We can also learn about the demon kind, which I did previously. Kind of nice. About Zidarius. I don't think much of him. Let's leave it at that. That's our Black Sun buddy, for example, who kind of is this Inquisitor who kind of forces us to do this. No postcards. Like, I screwed myself over for that, right? Let's rest. At least she regains some vitality. Okay, let's go here. That seems to be the outpost. Yeah, let's move over there for 7 movement point and enter it. The Comitatus makes its way across the jagged, bone-hued reaches of the smolder bone flats when you glimpse a rather distinct formation from afar. First, you believe it to be an unusually tall rock, but that observation is only half true. Upon approach, you realize it is some kind of watchtower, carved out from one of the region's characteristic natural stone spires. Its entrance is shielded by an awning and several guardsmen loiter around it. They appear quite relaxed, from which you conclude that there must be other, unseen, maybe even magical security around. Atop the tower, a ragged flag thrashes about, depicting a manticore, clearly the crest of the Minari trading house. Based upon the fact that you are in one of the Smolder Bone's more volcanic territories, you have a pretty good guess as to what this building might be. The entrance to one of the several underground mushroom plantations in the area. Although you don't really seem this place dangerous, you also have more important things to attend to. This might prove to be an excellent trading opportunity. You approach. Yes, we approach. The guards at the entrance get somewhat more attentive as you stride towards them, but still not exactly worried or alert. You would say they are used to dealing with comitati, and being the employer of merchants, might even welcome them. The way they address you supports this assumption. Well met, Vagrus. If you wish to trade, the Omphalat outpost welcomes you. Step inside, but first, leave all your weapons to our care. Rest assured, they will be returned once you depart. Better not risk walking into an unknown building without means of defense, decline and leave. Abandon your weapons and enter Omphalat outpost. Would be nice to have a choice to maybe smuggle in like a knife or something. But... I mean, this is an official trade post, right? We heard about that in the city. We have heard about it that there might be something going on here, so maybe slightly suspicious. But hey, we are a trader, they are a trader. This is kind of common practice, right? We're gonna leave our weapons here. You entrust your weapons to the guards and enter the tower, followed by only some of your closest companions. Several watchmen escort you down a spiral staircase worked into the malleable ground. Unsurprisingly, the tower was just a front for the volcanic cavern sprawling beneath the surface. Descending on a complex array of vast cracks carved from bone, you finally enter a huge subterranean grotto of pale luminescence. The place is riddled with a sweet, musky sand and tall, tree-like fungi, each of them gently glowing in the dark. Between them, there are small huts of clay and a multitude of workers, scurrying around the stumps, doing harvest work. Some on ladders, Someone robes dangling from the caps high above. Again, others tending to the mushrooms with fertilizers and dung. A pale, half-naked man with exceptionally bulbous eyes walks towards you smiling, arms wide open. Ah, new business partners, I reckon. Welcome. It's been quite a while since we've had the pleasure to speak with fellow merchants. My name is Kurth, and I'm the superintendent for this humble farming operation of the Venari trading family. How may I assist you? So we have 4 choices. I wish to buy some mushrooms. Tell me about your operations here. Tell me about the Venari trading house. Or 4, which is allowed because we have the perceptive perk 2. Kurth looks like he's a bit on edge. Maybe you should press him about that. Yeah, let's start with that. Again, you can see it seems like this black background here is intended to only hold a single line of text, but not 2. So again, a little bit unpolished, not a totally minor thing, but noticeable. Also, he tries to hide it. Superintendent Kurth is visibly nervous. Is there some kind of problem, you ask? What? A problem? No, nothing. That shouldn't concern you. Just the regular stress of being responsible for everything around here. All right, we have a bunch of choices. Still the previous ones. We could also just leave, but we have 2 new ones now. First one is, come now, you can tell me. Maybe you can help. Try to persuade him to talk. Perfect pronunciation here. We have a high chance of success because I'm very persuasive and I am somewhat charismatic. We could also boost this by extra 10% with 2 resourcefulness. Again, in this choice, in comparison to the scouting stuff before, it actually tells us outright that it costs 2 resourcefulness, right? Why did it not do that with the scouting thing before? But this also kind of is a weird thing in my opinion, is it tells us high chance. What does high chance mean? I know I have plus 15% because I'm persuasive. I know I have plus 6% because I'm charismatic. I know I can boost this by additional 10%. If I click it, it doesn't say very high. So how does is there a threshold that I could push it to very high? What is very high? Why don't you just give me overall the 8% chance? Which is, I get it, somewhat get it, to keep it somewhat vague. But on the other hand, you have give me like percentages to work with. Here plus 15, here plus 6. Optional plus 10% if you spend resources. So I feel like it would be fairer to just give me outright a percentage chance. I don't know, it feels like too vague for me, for my liking. But maybe it's just me. Okay, choice 2 is because we would be required to spend 2 resources as well, and because we have JustDaZack. JustDaZack, by the way, again our companion, who's also the chief handler and probably the one who tells this entire story, the old man we saw at the beginning, is also like someone with like mind powers. By the way, he can read minds. That's kind of cool, and came on Hindi a few times already. So maybe this would be a time to utilize JustDaZack's talents. You give your companion a sign to help you out a bit with convincing the superintendent. So we could just roll. We could also roll by spending 2 resources for chance. Or we just spend up the resources straight up and use this power. Let's do that. So be it, but not here. Follow me. Kurth leads you to a small cavern opening from the back wall of the larger grotto and separated by a wreck curtain from the rest of the farm. Judging from the piles of scrolls stacked on a desk and on the shelves, this must be his office. Even most of the workers don't know, hence the need for privacy. I'm not sure I can trust you, but I'm in dire need of someone competent, or at least more mobile than me. Spit it out. Why can we, by the way, only answer in such a rude way here? Well, kind of weird. I would like to have, even if it's just for flavor, to be somewhat nicer or so. Superintendent Kurth sighs. Might as well tell you. See, a couple of months ago, our mushrooms started withering, nay, rotting. Which is a bit strange for something that thrives on rot to begin with. My best guess is that after exhausting the upper layers of the soil, we dug too deep and unleashed something. Maybe some kind of magical fact, some anomaly, a residue from the calamity. We didn't even notice in the beginning because apparently the rot eats the fungi from the inside. The first sign was when some of the workers started getting sick. Oh, it's not exactly lethal, at least not right away, but it dehydrates and weakens anyone who digests the mushrooms to a degree that makes survival in the wasteland extremely difficult, if not outright impossible. And then there's the spores that might spread the contagion further. You listen as the superintendent goes on. It doesn't appear to be very contagious, but of course we quarantined the afflicted. Only a few selected workers know. The rest were told it's a case of scurvy, which is quite believable as we tend to follow a rather simple diet down here. Meanwhile, we had just enough upper caves left to keep on harvesting healthy specimens for a while. Seeing your alarmed expression, he adds, "Oh, don't worry. Should you have purchased some of our goods already, let me assure you that we still have a large quantity of uncontaminated mushrooms. We are looking for profit, yes, but that doesn't include losing our potential long-term customers to disease. You must understand that this whole operation was entrusted to me, and my Venari superiors are unforgiving, to put it mildly. I hoped that I could find a remedy before it's too late, but now I must admit I'm at my wit's end. You seem to be someone of vast resources. Maybe you could help me out? I wouldn't be ungrateful." Okay, 3 options. First one, I'm not sure I'm the right person for the job, but let's see. What would you have me do? Second one, guess you would like your employers to remain unaware. I could be persuaded to make sure of that for a price. Or 3, this is none of my business. You decide to leave. No, we're gonna go with 1. Okay, what kind of quest do you offer me? Again, here this weird cutout. First, you might want to take a look at some of the contaminated fungi. Who knows, maybe with the right skills you could come to some conclusion right here. Else, if you don't think you are up to the task or quite understandably do not want to risk getting infected, there's a sorcerer acquaintance of mine dwelling in Abernum. I have a few samples stowed away in vials which make it safe to carry them. Maybe you could bring them there and see what he makes of them. I think we met that sorcerer earlier. Okay, I guess you would like your employers to remain unaware. Okay, we could pressure him again. Let's have a look at these specimens first. But we are also very persuasive, so pressuring for money could be a good thing as well. Quoth beckons you to follow him. You descend into the lower regions of the grotto, and as you walk, you can see the workers getting more and more sparse. Finally, you stand before a cave entrance guarded by 4 watchmen and blocked by a makeshift palisade. The superintendent bids the guards to move it aside. I won't follow you in there, as I'm afraid I have already been exposed to too much to the contamination. I would also advise you to wear this. With that, he hands you a bone-framed mask made from some organic matter. It's bee skin infused with vinegar, he explains. The only thing we found to block the infection. For a while. Still better be quick about it. You enter and find yourself in a small chamber with a table in the middle. On the table, several samples of fungus flesh are displayed, all in various stages of decay. The first one looks almost completely healthy, apart from a few minuscule black dots on its surface. But as you progress to examine all of them, you can see that this is a neat display of how the sickness destroys the plantation stock. The last mushroom is but a foul, shriveling thing, dead as it gets, but somehow still emitting small dark clouds of spores. Pressing your mask onto your face, you begin the examination. Low chance of success. We actually have herb lore, plus 10%. The question here is now, is that my character, or is this from my companions? The bad thing is, it doesn't tell you here, and now I can't go to my character itself to look that up, which I find honestly very sad. Like, even, it would, honestly, I would actually love it if I could now go to my character and even, like, maybe level up and spend my insight just for this check. I know it's a little bit, gaming the system, but giving, that you have so many options, I feel that that would be actually cool and a smart way to use the experience point or insight in this case. The weird thing is now, again, still, okay, herb lore plus 10%. Where does that come from? Why, even if you don't allow me to spend my insight, why do you not allow me to go into my character sheet to look this up? This feels frustrating because I'm still new. I don't know where this comes from. For my character, for my companions, for something else, maybe an item. I don't know. Would be nice. Why suddenly lock me into the screen? It's just a very, again, super small thing. But it's noticeable and slightly not fun. Okay. And again, low chance. What does that mean? I haven't played 200 hours of this game, and so I don't know if this is like 10%, 15%, 25%, 35%. There's a huge difference, which could influence my choice if I spend 2 points of resourcefulness to increase this chance by 10%. Okay, the good thing is right now, at least I know, increased it from low to moderate chance. Again, I don't know if moderate is like 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, maybe even 60 or 70%. Unclear. Kind of sad. So we only know we have 10 plus 10% from this, because I spent the resources, and plus 10% for herb law. Is this a roll? It's kind of a whole roll. If I click this now, test failed 69 to 50, which is kind of sad. So I guess we always roll like a D100 plus maybe modifications, and we have to roll lower than that. Maybe in the tutorial earlier told us that, but there's not even like a dice roll or the sound, or we don't see a dice roll, which is kind of sad. I don't know, that would just add, I think that would add to the flavor. Right now it's just a button. And if we're lucky or not, of course I'm not lucky. Frustrating. As you pick up the last mushroom on the table, you make a sudden, involuntary movement. You jerk back as the seemingly dead tissue utters a hissing sound. But it is already too late. An eruption of black spores bursts into your face, and you know instinctively that your mask won't protect you. Alarmed, you try to shield your face with your arms and not to inhale too much of a poison cloud. So that's already like, I feel like this is also an info I didn't get. Like, yes, my test failed, but it was an examination fail, and I don't think this was a critical fail, right? So I just think this should be more like, okay, I just failed to understand what's happening. Why am I suddenly in lethal or any danger? This feels a bit too much as well. Amidst vehement fits of coughing, you stumble out of the chamber. Superintendent Quoth and the guards look at you with horror, slowly backing away from you. Didn't you say it was contagious? You ask after you're able to catch your breath. Quoth looks ashamed. Well, yes, I mean, no, it isn't. Just the instincts. Gods, you caught a wholesome whiff there. Are you all right? You feel like your lungs have been deflated. Your throat burns as if you haven't drunk for several days. Your eyes itch. Never better, you croak. The sarcasm seems to be lost on Quoth and his men. So what now? Asked the superintendent. Now, suppose I'm even more interested in finding a cure. Where are those samples, and where exactly to find the sorcerer? Maybe you could just leave? No, let's go, sorcerer. Right, says the superintendent. The sorcerer's name is Incarnus. He lives in a tower near the villa district of Avernum. There's an ongoing agreement between him and the House of Venari, so he will be sure to help. Anyway, just to be safe, I'll give you a letter of good conduct. Also, I think it's best if 2 of my agents accompany you, so that they can vouch for you and bring back any news or results. Wouldn't want you to run unnecessary errands. Don't worry, they won't be bothering you much. And of course, as I said, there's a reward. Let's say 2/5 of a stack in advance. I wonder what a stack is. Agreed, but first I would like to purchase some fungi from the uninfected stock you visit. If that's what it takes, that's none of my business. Sure, let's also get some fungi, maybe. So plus 20 mushrooms. House Venari agents joins your commutators. Okay. Pro here is staring at a sledge ledger as you walk up to him. Now, what can I do for you? Let's do business. We can't buy anything because we're too broke, dang it. Mushrooms. A sack of dried mushrooms, very popular as an ingredient for food and drinks to its wide availability. 40% of the local price, so we could buy this cheap and sell it. But of course, we don't. Okay, we have to leave. So this is another thing which I find kind of sad, and I saw before. Why can I now not again pressure him to say, okay, I'm helping you, but I also, you know, would like to pressure you. I'm not going to tell your uppers, you know, in the upper chain of your company for some money. Why can't we still, like, you know, blackmail him at least a little bit, even if we have a deal? I feel like that we at least, it would be nice to have allowed a shot at that. But for some reason the game refuses that, which I find sad, honestly. Well, so the problem is, I'm like broke with like resources and everything, but the game is kind of like, hey, go back to Avernum, where I just came from. So we have cargo. The question is now if I look at my crew, beasts of burden, mount, slave, worker scouts, outriders, fighters, companions, passengers, maybe, House Venari agents. Crew details. What is this money? Do we pay them? We have 2. They apparently add to our combat force. That's nice. Defense force. But they also eat, of course. But maybe they work as well. Mushroom rod. Oh, we have that. Undefended as well. Undefended. Active effects. Cannot elect to post guards during camp. Oh, great. Mushroom rod. Moderate casualties. You and your crew contracted a strange infection from mushrooms. People are likely to die in choking fits on a daily basis. Nice. That's fun. So do I travel back? Do I now? I'm like screwed, aren't I? Let's actually rest here and maybe use movement points now to scout. Yeah, there we go. And hope to hopefully get a bunch of resources. Even with the 2 extra agents, we don't have enough to post guards, which I find sad. And of course, we gained no resources. We only have 1 day of rations. Let's go back here. The Comitatus has seen better days. In fact, your comms are in pretty full mood. Perhaps you can still turn things around. Moderate chance of success. We have a bunch of stuff. 10 high chance of success to talk to our people because the stats aren't good. We failed, of course we did. 73 to 70. You can't for the life of you change the mood. Worse, you only annoy people by trying. Something goes wrong, your trusted comms of yours informs that some of the cargo has been stolen. It's not too far-fetched to assume that the bad mood and general poor morale is to blame for such a lowly deed. Either a cowardly act of revenge or a desperate one to make profit on the side. No matter how hard you search for it, the stolen goods are never found. Yay, -1 scrap metal, -1 iron. That's fun, we're still playing the tutorial. The game heavily incentivized me to just go on with the quest. And never really, I think in the very first city told you, hey, maybe make sure to buy guards. And I feel like there could be, yes, I know I'm responsible, it still is very frustrating. So let's move over here, 3 movement points left. Let's, I guess, rest here and hope we just find a lot by scouting, which is also terrible, right? We could, if we're lucky, but look at this. Let's, attack our slaves, all of them, get, make them submissive. Let's still feed our people. 57, 44 at least, like almost a day worth of rations. Yes, we were super lucky there. I guess we can only try to march. Let's go. Combat encounter would be nice. I would love to show you guys that. I'm gonna force my people to march. Can we reach the city? We can. Nice. Let's enter the city. This is terrible. We're gonna pay the tax. Let's go into the city. Oh no, let's visit the sorcerer. Okay. Of course we can read this up, but we managed to... There's something on your mind, Vagrus, something you hope I provide a solution for. And you know that it'll have a price he draws. So this is actually the same sorcerer we talked to before about the last pilgrimage. We can still ask him about, but here. Yeah, do you know what to make of this? You and the Venari agent show him the letter and the infected mushroom sample. This is why we're here again, like... This is bugged out. I think I need to... Yeah, I actually need to scroll down. The sorcerer takes a quick look at the letter, the sample, and takes him to his study, asking you to wait. He emerges after half an hour, letting you know that the infection is part natural, part enchantment. It causes the mushrooms to become extremely invasive to vertebrate life, attacking the lungs and throats by withering and dying when not attached to hosts. Whoever did this wanted to cripple the colony by destroying crops and workers alike, says one of the agents thoughtfully. I cannot confirm or deny this, Canis says in a monotonous voice. You can now undo most of the harm if you act quickly. The ancients take notes on how to use medicinal herbs, concoctions, and simple enchantments to undo the infection. They hand over a small purse as a token of Venari gratitude and tell you they will make their own way back to Omphalet Outpost. Before that, you also receive medicine that will cure your own infection and that of your crew. That's nice. You take your reward and prepare to leave. The agents go their separate ways. Okay, we gain 3 bronze money. You lose the mushroom rod. Nice. 5 inside, so experience points. Nice. Okay, we're still pretty much screwed though. So this is, by the way, a city window. Maybe I should have shown you guys this as well. We have different windows here. Factions is still something I haven't looked in the tutorial. We can go to the marketplace or the mansion where we can look at our cargo hold, at our companions again, deputies and so on. We can also buy extra crew. For example, I have a feeling I need more fighters to protect our guards, right? I don't know how many I need. We have this. Do not have enough guards for the most rudimentary defenses. Slaves and scouts apparently are not enough. Gotta hire some workers. No, not workers. Well, about one now. Fighters. 6, 7. Okay. Guarding your camp even in the most rudimentary way puts a strain on your guards. Great, we still need more. 8, 9, 10. Guarding your camp effectively puts a strain on your guards. Even 10. But as you can tell, I pretty much spent my whole money. We can exchange news to gain like... News refresh, which apparently is some kind of item. Like, I can't click on this, nothing happens. And I think this might also be the window, which I previously managed to... No? Okay. Showcase. Last time I was in this menu, I could actually click on the things and highlight the things in the background. At least this time I can't do. 1 second. Sorry for that. Okay, we're not completely screwed though. At least we have more guards that we can post some kind of cargo. I'm gonna do the same, mushrooms. I want to go here to the marketplace and mushrooms. So we can't eat them. We can sell them though, and I think we gained them for free before. So we're gonna sell all of these mushrooms for a little bit of money, and I'm also gonna sell some scrap metal, which is in demand here. The problem is this is kind of our quest item where we want to deliver even more down south, but I really need money. So I'm gonna sell some, and at least we do get a benefit from this. We do get money, decent money for this. We could also sell the bronze, but it's not in demand. Cargo. We have now good amount of money. We definitely need food again. I'm gonna buy a stack. 250, cost 5 gold, so to speak, but yeah, we really need food. We have such a high food problem. The question is, can I look at this and see anything that maybe... No, nothing really outright tells us that it's cheap to buy here, that we could sell. Not sure if we have in skill... Consult the price history feature for known market prices. So that's a feature as well, of course, here. So the idea now would be to check if we can buy something for cheap. Of course, wine, for example. Can't really spice, for example. Silver, buy, sell. 0 days of travel, price day. But that's just the current one. We don't know of any other cities right now. That's kind of sad. Maybe with rumors we could get an idea. So that's the idea, right? Do we buy iron? We can't even afford that. Or do we just travel with what we have and hope for the best and pay our people? I could also buy some equipment here. Extra storage, good quality tools, which makes our worker force better. Scores, better flea and beast defense. Hard to tell, but even that is not much money. I guess I just tried to survive on this. You're ready to leave? Yep. You approach the gates, Comitatus packed up and ready to go. You reach the gates. We could turn back, but no. And now the guards ask us, have you paid your tax? I have paid my tax when I entered. Yes, that's fine. So we're back here. Technically, we're doing worse than before. We have less stuff. We did this quest, but it didn't really help us. So much for that. And of course, we need to rest here as well. Maybe I should have rested in the city. That was a mistake as well. We're going to post guards at the very least. Send these guys out for 1 vigor. No, we have enough for now. We're going to eat our people. They actually get 150. Let's make them slightly happy. Oh, this is terrible. At least our companions also regain some health. We're going to move here for 8. That's a lot. But this is also a new node. We could march. I think I'm just gonna camp here and use 1 vigor to tell them to scout, and hopefully we're lucky. Again, gonna pay them 100%. Let's actually go with a 50 and hit some of our slaves for Ebenians. 0 to 3, you know what? F it. I'm gonna hit all 3. We're not making friends here. Don't think we actually gain any submissiveness. But we have to try to survive. -1 figure, critical fail, awful, only 38 forage. I mean, this game wants to be harsh, don't get me wrong. There's also Utvora. The Comitatus has seen better days. In fact, your comps are in pretty full mode. Okay. 2 of your fighters have the audacity to come up to you and demand extra payment for the shit they have to put up with. Like they are the only ones listening to others' crap. Pay them a bonus, at least that will shut them up. Do not pay them, it might start a trend. I'm not gonna pay them. Unbeknownst to you, the 2 warriors keep grumbling and scheming all day. They might end up doing something stupid. Luckily, some of the others managed to talk them out of it and they end up calming down in a few days. Nice, you're fairly oblivious to all of it. Yeah, that's also a thing that happened before. They stole from us someone. We're so freaking unlucky. Fatigued. No, we're gonna rest here. Send them to scout, cost only movement points. Please, guys. Here, pay later. I can't even pay them now. We're so broke. Maybe I should have paid earlier. There we go. Full rations. End the day. Come on. Some luck. 24. We're losing on so much. We're gonna move here closer to Utvora. I'm not even sure this is the main quest right now, if we need to go even further down. No, we are only here. I need to go even further down to stand a chance. I don't even know how to get further down, if I'm honest. Because looking at the map, again, we can't scroll, so I'm not sure. There was a mechanic early on where I had to click stuff and tell me marked locations remain visible regardless of map. Maybe this, try to mark this and hope, or here maybe the new entry. No, we could write something here, which is a cool feature, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna mark this too, maybe. Can I mark several things? Can't mark the oasis anymore. I'm not sure what I did wrong. Can't even click it anymore. Oh, it's still clicked, never mind. So I mark it here. If we go back. No. There was a thing very early on, like 3 hours ago in the tutorial, which kinda maybe allowed me to mark something on the map. I'm not sure if that really cleared something right now, though. So I guess the best, honestly, I think I can do right now is to try to reach the city. We're gonna march as well. Let's go. That's terrible, but I don't know what to do. Let's enter this. And here you can see suddenly the font is also completely different here. Way smaller. Home to the eponymous Atrava tribe of fire worshippers, this village is one of the few permanent settlements of Zadira folk have. Poised on the edge of a barren plateau, protected from the raging heat of nearby lava lakes, rows of soot-covered sandstone houses and tents await visitors. Everything is painted orange and red, the holy colors of the great fire spirit. No, sorry, clothes, awnings, banners, and even faces. Seek out the shamans, approach the group of young warriors. Maybe you can actually trigger a combat. I would like to show you guys that. We're not doing good. And look at this. Suddenly this is so much bigger and I need to scroll down here. Again, the UI in this game, with how it works, still seems to be a little bit all over the place. It's sometimes like very weird. Also the font now is way bigger again. Why this dissonance? 4 young Atvora warriors are talking in hushed tones next to a row of tents. They greet you politely when you approach them and ask them why they've been staring at you. We've heard your tribe travels the sands and may go to faraway lands, the oldest of them says. The fire in our hearts compels us to seek what is over the horizon. If you wish, we would join your tribe and fight for you. You could hire them if you are looking for warriors, or try to play into their sense of destiny and curiosity. All of you are welcome, let the young warriors join you and pay them. It's an honor to travel with such renowned comitatus. Try to get them to join for free. Very high chance of success. Yes, because we are con men, we are highly charismatic, and we are also somewhat savvy. Also, we're gonna go with 10%, spend 2 resourcefulness. There we go, we had a 100% chance, and still rolled a 91, which is terrible. We shall fight for your tribe then, out of honor, the young warrior says. They grab their gear and join the comitatus. However, upon their joining, it quickly turns out that you haven't paid them a recruiting fee, and this makes your comms disgruntled because they think it was less than fair to the newcomers. Can't please everyone, it seems. +4 fighters, -1 morale. Everything we do is awful. Okay, we could buy stuff. I actually think here. Is this the stuff where I could sell the scrap metal? No, it doesn't seem to be in demand. Bronze. We're gonna sell the bronze. That seems to be a good price, maybe. If you go here, we could, of course, encampment in a cave. Who dwells in this? We can buy some rumors. Lost hunting party. Let's buy this too. Exchange news. I think we actually gained a little bit of money for that as well. We can talk to the shamans now. Another thing that I just checked is, I mean, we have just been in Avernum, and this is Atvura. I honestly expected to have the difference between Avernum and Atvura here to get a better idea. Like, we have this price history window, right? How am I supposed to use it? Honest question, like price, date, name, we can filter, we have a bunch of options. But I expected to maybe have 2 rows, 1 Atvura, 1 Avernum, to see the difference here between these cities alone. But apparently that's not the case, so I only have the current market prices. Dragon bone, very valuable, very cool. Coffee beans, but why not have Vernum? Like, me as a new player, I can't make any of this. How am I supposed to use this? Custom? Can I? No, I can't even filter. Vernum, I've just been there like 10 days ago maybe. Sure, I thought that is what this window is for, to tell me, to make these two compare, to get an idea what might be, you know, worth buying here, selling in Avernum or so. But apparently, this does at least for me as a new player, I'm not have no idea how I'm supposed to use this. This doesn't help me whatsoever. Honestly, a bit frustrating. Also, it seems like this has 2 escape windows here. This one to the map, I guess. And again, frame drops when you switch, and this one. Huh, weird. So we're gonna leave again. And I'm still trying to look for combat, even though I honestly, like, even though as someone who has played the tutorial, I do not know how to travel this map now. I'm stuck. I have to go south to these places. Do I just need to look for a way? I have them highlighted. View-related codex entry. How do I go here? How do I get to these places? Map zoom. They're all highlighted, right? Maybe? How do I see when something is highlighted and when do I unhighlight it? I don't get it. I mean, boobs up, now it's blue. Now it's unhighlighted. If I zoom out, it's still there. So when is it? Is this highlighted? I think so. But then where's the difference between highlighted and not? Okay, I have to get somehow down, but again, I can't zoom out, so I honestly don't know how to go. Do I need to go bottom right? How do I travel there? Maybe 3 hours ago, the game taught me once, but I'm not even sure if it did. And if that is the thing, or if I'm missing something here. I'm honestly confused. I could have also actually chilled in the city, which might be better. How do I end the day here? Rest. Slightly better, slightly more comfortable, right? Still need to feed my people, and we need food. I'm gonna pay my people now as well. Defiant. Great. End the day. Our jobs, or people did our jobs, which gave us a little bit of money, so that's nice. Morale is pretty bad. What a surprise. Okay, at least we won. You managed to do the unthinkable. I don't know how to really get it back up anymore. And now this is suddenly bigger. Is this intended? Huh? Did I lose? Maybe I should have read the text. Why is this bugged out now? Maybe I was supposed to lose? What is going on? Escape? I still can do this, but this is different now. Why? Because I'm in the city, maybe? So technically, I need food. I just bought so much, and we're broke again. So, I'm trying to follow the main quest, by the way. I'm not willingly getting sidetracked here. But I'm not sure what to do. On a mechanical sense now. Hey, this reappears. Now my morale is so bad. And it's over.
That's not.
And he repeats himself. And I can't show you guys combat. Anyway, the combat is actually very simple. It's just grid-based. You can place a few people. They have a few skills. Resistances is a thing. I noticed the game tells you, for example, with the zombies that they are immune against mind powers, which our JustDaZack character has. The problem is it tells you that once in like a dialogue box, and then and you can look it up in their stat screens. But funnily enough, it doesn't tell you outright with like a symbol that the mind powers of JustDaZack are actually dealing mind damage. So it's not, well, it doesn't when you do the attack, just like, okay, this is going to be resisted 100%, or you deal no damage. Or you see it then when you attack, but it also, I found it kind of weird to look up that, oh, this is actually a mind power. Again, a few weird UI element choices there that confused me as a player more than they actually helped me. Yeah, now I lost. And it feels very frustrating because I want to engage with the game, I want to understand it, and it's cool. I love the world, I love the writing, I love the world building. Another thing, by the way, I'm sorry that I switched so much, because I wanted to want to wrap it up. It's such a long video, but stick with me, please. So the combat, simple, it works. It's okay, it's workable. I didn't really enjoy it much so far here in the tutorial. Maybe when it opens up, it's gonna be tactically more engaging. It felt very RNG-like. Again, I didn't really enjoy it. I also also noticed that some of the sounds in the fighting thing, like when you clash swords or so, at least when I initially booted up this game like 2-3 weeks ago, it was honestly like some of these sounds were unpleasantly loud. Like seriously unpleasantly loud that I had like almost like physically like a bad sound. You can change a lot of stuff here, so hard to tell. Maybe I actually tweaked it, but I still remember that. I'm sorry that I couldn't show you guys combat. It's so weird. because I now played this for 1.5 hours and I'm gonna make a video here, and I'm not gonna do either of those things if I don't think this game is interesting. I think it's super engaging. I love the world. I want to play more. I enjoy it. I kind of dislike some of the UI choices. I still wonder why it freezes so often when you switch between menus, because why it seems to be. I almost got this feeling that this game is kind of made on spaghetti code. I almost feel like I would love to see Vagrus 2. It feels a little bit like what I hear people telling about Crusader Kings, I think 3 was it, or Crusader Kings 2 even. That is a deeply engaging games with cool mechanics that people adore, but which is so hard and so unplayer friendly going into because the UI elements are not really self-explanatory all over the place. I honestly feel like Vagrus is a little bit like that. Yes, it's intended to be punishable, but making a hard and punishable game is one thing, but making it hard and punishable because it doesn't really convey the information in the UI elements in a good way is something else, right? It feels very frustrating. And that's kind of what I have with this game. So first off, is it any fun? Frankly, yes, thumbs up. But I do feel like it needs an overhaul somewhere. It does, even though this is still meant as the tutorial, otherwise this game just throws you into. And I honestly almost wonder if just figuring out stuff on your own without any of this tutorial guidance might honestly maybe be more helpful. Hard to tell. It's so weird. Because I played this now for what? 3 hours? 4 hours? Maybe even more. I'm actually gonna switch up real quick, guys. I'm gonna look this up. Yeah, I now played this for exactly 4.7 hours. I'm still confused with the mechanics. I still don't know how to travel efficiently. And yes, in the part this game wants to, but I still feel like I'm battling less the game and its harsh world and less more the systems and mechanics and the UI elements in a way, if this makes sense. So it's this weird thing of, yes, I think this game is fun, and I recommend it if you're willing to stick with this roughness and if you want to engage with the world. But if this, I mean, this is a 1.5 hour video. If you watch this long, and I guess there's a good chance you are intrigued in this, right? In this world, and the writing, which is good, the world building, which is phenomenal. The presentation is cool. It's just the mechanical level and the UI elements, which are kind of like working against you, it feels almost. It's like this game despises you to a degree and doesn't want to tell you things. Which seems so odd, because then it also wants you to engage with it, right? It's so weird. So yeah, this is one of those things. Thumbs up. It is fun. I want to play more. I'm also frustrated a lot. And this is definitely a thing, if what you've seen is engaging to you, and if you love, deep, complex, very text-heavy, choose your own adventure RPG games, this is right up your alley, because there's not many of them, and there's not many on this quality level, which is good. But then you still have to deal, I think, with the frustration of fighting these UI elements, which are almost actively hating you. There's also like buyable DLCs. There's a lot of content in this game. This is still just the tutorial, which I failed at apparently. Then you have the normal game where you can pretty much do whatever you want, but still uncover the mysteries. Then you have extra DLCs. There's also free DLCs, extra characters, there's Scorpion Peoples, there's the Zombie Cook that you can get as a companion. There's so much more. And I still almost feel already like, man, I wish they gonna do a Vagrus 2 with the same amount of content or even more, and just tweak the UI elements or so. And as you can see here, what's coming next, we can apparently build outposts. And there's also outpost UI improvements. Additional content, even more. So yeah. This is my opinion. Doesn't this make any sense? Please tell me. I'm so torn apart of, I love this game already in a way, but I also hate it. And this is definitely, I feel that this is almost like the very definition of a very rough hidden gem of a game. I hope this is I think this is the best way to put it so far for me. I hope I was able to convey this. I'm sorry I wasn't able to showcase the combat to you. Please honestly tell me what you think of this. Is this a decent style? This is almost more like I will now ramble episode of me. It's hard to tell. Maybe I will post it as such. Yeah, Vagrus, the Riven Realms. Ladies and gentlemen, please, seriously, tell me what you think of this video, what you think of the game. Feedback is greatly appreciated. Stay awesome. Truly thank you for having watched. If you actually watched throughout all of this means a lot to me. And yeah, I hope you could take something from this. Stay awesome, and we see each other in the next video.